Welcome to the Chrissy B Show, and I'm your host, Chrissy B. Now, with so many things to think about at Christmas, it's no wonder many of us feel a little worn out. But don't let the winter blues get you down, because tonight's guests are all here to show you how to better handle your anxieties this holiday season. Here to help our viewers relax are mindfulness coach Cynthia Pezzolesi and colour artist and illustrator Georgie Woolridge, who will be explaining the benefits of mindfulness through art and psychology. We will also be joined by our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, and then later on, I'll be giving you my own tips on how you can relax this festive season. With Christmas only a few days away, many will be heading to parties, celebrating with friends and gathering with work colleagues. However, not everyone will be feeling festive this holiday season. According to Mental Healthy, Christmas can be a tough time mentally, with up to 10% of the UK suffering with social anxiety, and more than 1 in 10 people saying that they have had problems sleeping around this time of year. This is also the time of year people use depressants such as alcohol to silence their anxiety, with nearly 1 in 5 people drinking more alcohol than usual to cope with the pressure of holiday season. During December, levels of social anxiety spike, with 1 in 10 employees pretending that they cannot find childcare to get out of staff parties, while a similar number say that they would meet colleagues at events only to not show up. 1 in 20 admit that they have pretended to get lost en route to get out of attending staff events taking place in the run-up to Christmas. So clearly, Christmas is a big time for stresses and anxieties to build up. Now, we do love to get comments from our viewers, whether that be on our YouTube channel, other social media platforms, or by email. And we also have viewers who are very open about how they feel regarding their own mental health issues and share those feelings with others. We had a comment recently on our show regarding social anxiety. Let's refresh our memories.
Well, it started in secondary school. There was girls in the older year, and it wasn't physical bullying, it was like whispering and looking, and that made me very anxious. And
well, as you can see, that was very difficult for Nicola to come onto the show, and I think she was extremely brave. And on our YouTube link, Ralphie Petita says, "I have social anxiety. I'm 26. It's the most horrible feeling. It takes a lot out of you and holds you back from enjoying life. You just got to keep it in the back of your mind. We only live once. Enjoy life, and instead of being angry, sad, depressed, paranoid, anxious, try to enjoy each day and be kind to all people. Treat others how you want to be treated." And here are some other tweets on the subject. Miley says, "I hope I make it to Christmas break without dying from anxiety or stress." Naveed says, "On the 6th day of Christmas, my uni gave to me high blood pressure and anxiety." And Demi says, "It's actually given me anxiety realizing I have so many people to buy for Christmas and such little time to do it." So perhaps a little mindfulness can help with all of this. And here to explain what this is and how it helps is mindfulness coach Cynthia Pezzolesi. Welcome to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you. Thank you.
So today you're here to help our viewers because, you know, this is a time of year, as I said earlier, it's a time of year where everyone's very stressed, and instead of actually enjoying the moment and enjoying Christmas, people are just getting very stressed, getting anxious, not having a very good time. And you're going to help our viewers today to give some advice. But before you give the advice, can you tell us how you got into mindfulness in the first place?
So about 10 years ago, when I was studying clinical psychology, and then moved to the UK, my supervisor introduced me to mindfulness as a way of helping people with eating disorder to deal with trauma and anxiety.
Okay. Now, we were speaking earlier and I was quite surprised because you said, you know, you've been doing it for like 10 years, and I was surprised that mindfulness had been around like for 10 years, but you actually said it's been going since 1979, was it?
Yes.
So it's not a new technique.
It's actually 1976, and someone called John Kabat-Zinn introduced mindfulness in the Western society. But mindfulness itself because it has its origins in the Buddhist psychology, started about 3,000 years ago. So it's a long thing.
So can you explain what mindfulness actually is?
So mindfulness is the awareness that comes from paying attention to the present moment.
Okay.
So in order to pay attention to the present moment, we really need to make an effort, because our mind tends to be either in the past, worrying about what went wrong, or in the future, imagining what might happen or the things we have to do next. So mindfulness allows us to really engage with what we're doing when we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite it's quite an important thing, because otherwise you don't actually ever get to really, say if it's something good that you're doing, like out for a meal with your husband or something like that, and you are thinking about everything that you've got to do the next day, you're not actually in the moment, you're not giving that person even the best of you.
Definitely. And what they say, you have to turn up when your life is happening, because the past is gone, the future is not here yet. And the only moment we really have to live, to be present, to heal ourselves, to do what we have to do is this moment.
Yeah. But how do you actually do it in practice? Because especially when like you're really sort of bombarded with all these thoughts and the worries and the things that you have to do tomorrow, or the things you have to do even in an hour's time, because some people are even worried about those kind of things. What can you actually do to kind of train yourself, or can you train yourself to?
Absolutely. Mindfulness is something that you can train. So some people are actually naturally mindful. So they are always present, calm and relaxed, but I would say the 99% of the rest of the people not. How you do it? You try to focus your mind on one object, and that object can be either your breath or something that lives in the present. So your body or even sounds. And whenever you notice that the mind wanders, as it surely will, you try to bring the mind back. By training your mind to come back to that object, you're actually, it's like going to the gym for the brain. You teach your attention to be where you want it to be. So if you want to be in the present moment, you might notice that you're somewhere else and you bring the mind back. It's a tool. It's something though that it takes time and repetition, a bit of patience.
So not to give up, obviously, if you've tried a couple of times and like it's not working, you're still seeing your mind going all over the place, but just keep at it.
The thing is, you cannot really fail mindfulness, because as I said before, is mindfulness is awareness of what is going on. So even if you practice, most people get a bit frustrated because they notice that they have lots of thoughts, even when they're trying to practice. And when I say practice, I mean meditations usually. That's what mindfulness uses as a tool to create this mental state of awareness. And when we get distracted, it's actually not a bad thing. You cannot really fail a mindfulness practice, because being awareness, you can aware of what you find in your mind. So if your mind is busy, so if you've been busy until now and you start to meditate, you cannot expect a very calm and blank mind, if you see what I mean. So some people get a bit distracted and frustrated by the fact that they don't really get calm at first. But calmness is something that you achieve over time. I think.
All right. So is the technique the same when you're with other people?
So basically it's the same. You try to focus on what they're saying in this case. So you try to bring your mind back whenever you notice that the mind has wandered.
Okay. And what are the actual benefits of mindfulness, would you say?
There are many, many benefits as long as you practice. So mindfulness is well known for stress reduction, and also is very well, it's been approved by the NICE, National Institute for Clinical Excellence guidelines in the UK for the treatment of depression and anxiety. So from a clinical point of view, but also mindfulness helps us to thrive in our lives. As we said before, help us to be really present, to be more aware of what is going on inside us and outside us. So it means it's helpful for leaders when it comes to emotional intelligence, for example. It's a very popular term nowadays. And yes, that's what we become more aware of other people, and how we respond to other people as well.
Okay. And I was just thinking, even with things like, because obviously something that I see a lot that is really worrying is just how much people are on their phones. I was out the other day with my husband having dinner, and it's like I looked over at a table. It was a family of 4, I think, everyone was on their phone. They all had a phone. They were completely ignoring each other and just constantly on their phones. And I was like, what's the point of coming out together if you're not even going to talk to each other? And people don't seem to notice each other. They don't even notice nature anymore. So again, even just walking down the road with your phone and you don't notice the birds, the breeze, anything. And it's just worrying. And I think that's why a lot of people are being depressed these days and not enjoying life as much.
Definitely. One thing I like of mindfulness is it makes ordinary things extraordinary. So you begin to pay attention to things you would not normally notice, like as you said, the birds as you walk to the tube station, or I don't know, for me nature, for example, is something that I do pay attention to, and it has a very calm and soothing effect.
Yeah, I start to get symptoms if I don't go out somewhere or see some birds or some grass or something.
Exactly.
So obviously, and if someone is a complete beginner, I suppose everyone's mindful in their own way at some point, but if someone wants to actually consciously do it, is there a certain time of day that's better, or is it just whenever you want to do it?
So some people prefer to do it in the morning because it sets them for the day. Personally, I don't. Because when I wake up, I'm fairly active. I like to start doing things. And for me, lunchtime works better. What I normally answer when I get asked this question is whenever really you know that you can find a protected time during your day, whatever that time is. And also, ideally, protected space. So when you are undisturbed, especially if you live in a family with other people or children and so on. So it might be hard.
Must be hard for mums though when they've got screaming kids running around if they're at home, or dads if they're at home, like looking after the kids.
Exactly.
Okay, well, definitely a technique that everyone should get into.
Absolutely.
All right, Chinze, thank you so much for coming on today and for advising our viewers today. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, guys, so don't go away, because after the break, I'll be joined by Dr. Audrey Tang, who's going to be telling us more. And I'll also be showing you a wonderful healthy recipe sure to lower your stress levels. So don't go away. Welcome back to today's program, everyone, all about reducing stress and anxiety over Christmas. So before the break, we spoke about mindfulness and being in the moment. And now we've brought on our regular psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, who's going to be delving into the social anxiety side of things and, what can be done when people do dread maybe the social gatherings, the Christmas parties and things like that. So welcome to the show, Audrey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's lovely to be back.
Oh, it's lovely to have you on. Always, great guest, Audrey here. She just gives us all these pearls of wisdom.
I hope so. That's a good thing.
So yes, so some people do dread the social situations, and as we heard in the intro, they make up all these kind of excuses. They can't get childcare, they couldn't find the venue to get out of those Christmas gatherings. So what advice would you give to people? Why does that happen in the first place?
A lot of people don't actually understand social anxiety very well, because if you are okay in public places and you're fine talking to people and making small talk, you don't really think much of it. Yeah. But social anxiety can go right back to a fear of blushing when you talk to someone, and that in itself can be really debilitating. And so people are almost avoiding those situations, much more to do with the fear of making a fool of themselves, rather than because they don't like you or they don't like your friends or something like that. And the most important thing is, if someone has made an excuse not to come, is actually not to take it personally. That is the first thing.
Okay.
The other thing,
good to know.
Well, that it probably isn't you. The other thing as well is, if you are fearing being out in public, actually be honest about it.
Okay.
Because rather than making the excuse, and that's when actually everyone starts talking about it, and then it's worse because you feel someone's talking behind your back. They probably are, because you've made an excuse, then you're feeling guilty about that. Sometimes it's just a lot easier to say, I'm really uncomfortable in social situations. Would you mind if I visited you earlier? Or maybe came on a different day. So anything like that could make a difference. If you have to be in public company, then you can plan for it. One of the things you can do is actually find times during the day where you can take the dog for a walk, or where you can go and get some fresh air, or pop to the letterbox or something like that. Yeah. It can be a pre-planned excuse if you're not comfortable telling people, I really don't want to be around sort of crowds for too long. Or it can be something where you say to somebody, well, at 3 o'clock, I am going to have to take the dog for a walk. That way you've preempted it and you're not running off and just doing it. So that can give you sort of some security that you've got a bit of a structure there as well. A lot of the problem with Christmases and do's or any kind of social gathering is it is unpredictable. And I think sometimes that's what people with social anxiety also fear. You don't know if something's going to kick off, you don't know if something strange is going to happen, and all of those unpredictable qualities can make it very hard for somebody to actually relax and enjoy themselves, especially if they're uncomfortable in the first place. So I think what we need to do is understand that if somebody is making an excuse, there's probably a deeper reason for it and it isn't something to take personally. But rather than making an excuse, if we are very anxious about the Christmas period, be honest, because it's your friends who are inviting you out and it's your friends who want to know that. I think the last thing they'd want to feel is they were putting you in an uncomfortable situation.
I mean, if you maybe have been honest already and you've told people, but you still find yourself making excuses, is it a good idea maybe to try and break that kind of habit and maybe force yourself to go and see, if you can actually overcome it yourself, do you think?
It's a difficult one because that would be one method of overcoming phobias. It's systematic desensitisation. Maybe seeing that person just before Christmas, just on a one-to-one basis for a cup of coffee, then going back maybe with when their child is there or when their husband's there or wife's there or when there's a few more people around, then coming back when there's even more people, and then you've built yourself up for that particular occasion. But even still, when we don't have social anxiety, we may still dread that Christmas dinner because you're seeing people who you haven't seen for a long time. There can be overindulgence with alcohol, with food. You may be feeling bloated, you may be feeling ill because you've drunk too much. And as I said again, it does become very unpredictable. And even if you have prepared and you've gone into that situation, nothing can necessarily prepare you for what actually will happen. Personally, I'm always for trying to push that little bit further and trying to get a little bit more comfortable. But maybe for yourself, if you have explained it, actually say to someone, I'd love to come, I can only stay for an hour. And that way you've got your own limit placed on it as well. And if you
don't get questioned when you do actually want to leave.
Precisely. And if you do want to stay longer, then great. But also with Christmas, there is no shame in it because actually a lot of people are often spending 2 Christmases if parents are divorced or if you've now got children and you have to spend it with one set of grandparents and another set of grandparents. So it's actually not a big deal anymore, which is probably a good thing.
Okay. And Audrey, for those people that maybe don't have social anxiety, but they're just a bit shy, but they want to sort of, get the most out of socialising, any tips that you could give our viewers?
If it's at, say, a Christmas dinner, then sometimes things like Christmas crackers and the jokes that are inside there can be a great way of breaking the ice. They're awful jokes, we all know that. And because of that, it's quite comfortable to read off a piece of paper. The other thing I would say is actually prepare. Have a list of questions that you can ask people. People love talking.
Not to take them out.
Not with a script.
So, where did you go on holiday this summer?
Not like an interview, like an interview. But it sounds a bit silly, but actually
but it makes sense.
People like talking about themselves.
They do,
The funniest thing is, and I know I'm going to go away thinking that was a great time and you may be thinking something different, but when I've spoken loads, I've really enjoyed myself. And actually at a party, people feel that too. If someone's asked lots of questions about you and you've been able to say what your hopes and dreams are for 2017 and all of that sort of thing, you'll go away thinking, oh, they were so nice, I've had a great time. So actually asking someone about themselves, unless you're asking someone who's also panicking, in which case
that might not work out very well. But actually that is a very good technique because if you're not used to socialising, if you're in those kind of situations, why not prepare a few questions? It's even like when you go on a date, I suppose, maybe meeting someone for the first time, a blind date or something, and then you have something to talk about, or some questions to ask.
At worst, if it's a party, you can even ask, how do you know the host? That's a very sort of common question, and because everyone's going to be there for a reason, that's always a nice thing to do.
Okay. And just finally, Audrey, how about in work situations? What advice would you give there? Because, people do tend to notice the ones that are more outgoing, that, you know, they seem to maybe entrust more things into their hands. What kind of advice would you... So I'm going off the subject a little bit, but I'm interested to know about work as well.
A work situation is an awkward one because sometimes it's important to show your face just because that may be what's expected of you as part of the company.
Yeah, yeah.
The reality of most work parties is past a certain time, people will have forgotten who's there because you won't remember your own name by past a certain time. So you can go, usually there's a meal first, and there you can often talk to somebody sitting next to you. One thing it's F. Scott Fitzgerald in The Great Gatsby. One of the best quotes from there is, "I love large parties. They're so intimate," because in a small party, I can't find any privacy.
Yeah.
In a large group, it's very easy to go and sit with somebody and have a chat with them. And actually, it's a lot easier to have that conversation because you're not having to shout over the loud music. You're not necessarily having to fight with anyone else for attention because that's where you are and that's who you can hear. And you can actually have quite a nice time in a big group by speaking to those people who are next to you.
Interesting. All right, Audrey, thank you so much. And we'll see you again very soon on the show. Brilliant. Okay, so as we've heard there are different ways of reducing anxiety. And another one actually is through our diet as well. So here's a seasonal recipe from Hannah Richards that combines healthy wintry turkey burgers with sweet potato wedges, good for reducing anxiety.
Hello and welcome to the MTS Kitchen. My name's Hannah and today I'm going to teach you how to cook some foods that are going to help reduce your anxiety levels. You may or may not have heard that actually what we eat can have an effect on how we feel, and it's certainly true. So today I'm going to show you how to make some turkey burgers and some sweet potato wedges. Take your sweet potatoes and we're just going to start by peeling them. We're going to then parboil your sweet potatoes and then we're going to put them in the oven with some spices, some garlic, some chili. So we want to sort of try and create as much of a wedge as possible. So, you know, sweet potatoes come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so you've got to sort of be creative. So I would chop them into a sort of a cylindrical shape. Okay, so the sweet potatoes are in the pan. We're going to move on to the turkey burgers. So I've got two types of turkey mince. One is the breast and one is the thigh. The breast mince has got a little less fat in it, and that's why I've brought the thigh mince, because fat is always good when you're doing burgers because it keeps it all together. And I'm just going to mush them together, mixing them up. So then for a little bit of taste, we're going to take some garlic cloves, squeeze them in your presser. Now I'm going to use some coconut oil to cook, just because these turkey burgers are going to take a little time. And then I'm going to take an onion and just chop it down as finely as you can. And just break all the little bits up as well. Okay, so add into the pan your onions and your garlic. So whilst we're there, I'm going to add a chili. We're just going to go back to our sweet potatoes, drizzle some olive oil over them, some sea salt, some turmeric, and a little bit of rosemary. And then we're just going to add some of our spicy mix. So there are your spicy wedges. We're just going to put them in the oven at 180 degrees for about 25 minutes. I'm going to check them after 25 minutes, or maybe a little bit before, because everyone's oven's a little different, but we want them roasted, we want them crispy. We're going to add a little bit of flour onto our cooking board. We're going to add a little bit of salt into the turkey burger. I'm going to take a handful, give it a bit of a baste into the flour and into the pan. So the sweet potatoes are ready. They've been in for 25 minutes and we're going to take them out.
Thank you very much to Hannah. Well, do stay tuned because after the break, I'll be hearing from Georgie Woolridge about how colouring can improve our mental health, and we'll also be getting some fitness tips from Ben Cooper. Hi, I'm Chrissy B and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where today we are talking all about reducing stress and anxiety over the Christmas period. Now, this next activity has taken the world by storm over recent years, with nearly 1 in 7 adults doing it at work and almost a third of us at home. Colouring has been proven to reduce stress, increase concentration levels, as well as relax us. And here to discuss the benefits of colouring with me now is Georgie Woolridge. Hello, Georgie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you on the show. Now, we do have a man's jacket here, and I will be explaining to our viewers why we have this jacket here in just a moment. But first of all, I have to talk to you, my love, because you have done something incredible. But first of all, tell us, how did you get into art and colouring and things in the first place?
Just through school, I loved it, and I knew from then I was going to do something in the art world.
Okay.
I didn't know what, but I just knew there was something. I had a talent. Not that I like to kind of admit it, but I knew I kind of had something.
Okay.
So I did art foundation, went to university, ended up doing textiles actually, which is kind of still arty. But yeah, it's just kind of grown throughout the years, and I've kind of developed my own style through my travels and.
Tell us about your travels.
So I actually spent 3 months in India. I was working for an interior design company, hand drawing designs for upholstery, drapery and embroidery. Within my degree there wasn't a lot of drawing, which I already loved doing, so that kind of got me back into my drawing. Did a few more countries after that, and when I got back I just literally started to draw again. And that was it.
Now, obviously, the travelling did actually inspire you to come up with different things that maybe you hadn't noticed before?
Definitely. For example, Morocco, like just kind of going through the souks and seeing all the different colours and the patterns. Definitely kind of sparks something different every time you see something. Okay,
I have to show the viewers some of your artwork now, but can you tell us, you've got these, well, we've got one called Animals, a mindful colouring book. And I just have to show you the illustration on the front, guys. I don't know if you can see that, the detail in that. I think it's absolutely amazing. Okay, you can see it's absolutely amazing, the detail on that. And this is something, how long did this take you to, you drew it first and then you coloured it? How long did this take to do?
So I had 38 illustrations to do, I think, over about 2 months, I would say. So it was quite full on in the 2 months. It wasn't kind of one a day, or it was actually quite a lot of work.
And this is, I mean, I used to colour quite a lot when I was a child, and to be honest, I know these have been around for a while. I don't know where I've been all this time, but this is the first time I've actually seen a colouring book like this for the adults can use as well. So guys, I mean, these books are full of like, this is like a dream for me because I like doodling. I'm always like doodling and I'm drawing things, especially when I'm in meetings, and it actually helps me concentrate as well. And love sort of colouring things in. And when I saw this, I thought, wow, I could have a field day on this. I mean, the illustrations are absolutely amazing. And you've got one about birds as well. I'd just like to show. I mean, this one's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if we can get a close up on that as well. This one is absolutely lovely as well. Now, how long do you think it would take the average person to colour in like an illustration like this?
See, actually, some of my followers send me, how they've coloured their own kind of birds and animals, and a lot of them were pretty quick.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. And tell us about how you feel when you are drawing or colouring or anything like that. How does it help you mentally?
It's almost like going into my own world. I literally completely forget anything around me. We're talking about stresses. Any stresses during the day. I kind of put on some music and then like a couple of hours have gone by and I literally have no idea how. Like I just get lost in it.
Don't you get distracted by your phone or social media or anything like that? Or when you're in this, you're really in this?
Sometimes I do, but if I kind of get really impatient in the fact that I want to see the end goal then, so I'm actually quite focused in kind of getting that drawing done.
And I didn't actually ask you, how did you actually come about doing your own colouring books as well? Because these are doing really well, aren't they?
And they are. So I kind of show my work in a gallery, and they were in a show, and one of the ladies that worked for one of my publishers saw my work and contacted me.
Wow. And how have these books been going?
Really, really well.
Yeah.
I've sold over 220,000 books.
That's amazing.
So far.
Well, how does that feel,
really well.
like, obviously, having such a passion and then being able to share that with others as
well? I can't even imagine how many, what that looks like. And the fact that people are colouring in what I have drawn, that's kind of a dream of mine, that I would have my artwork in people's homes, and the fact that they're actually colouring what I've created is just...
It's very nice.
Really surreal.
Do kids use these as well, or would you say it's better for them to use like the other ones?
I did a colouring event at Slimbridge, and a lot of the adults were actually quite shy, like come on, come and colour, all the colouring pencils, and they're kind of like, oh no, it's okay. But the children, probably 4, 5, 6 years old, straight away, and I mean, this one girl was just sat there for about 2 hours, like didn't move, and the mum was like, come on, we need to go home now, and she was literally just completely, in the zone, like just didn't want to.
I mean, I think this is so much better than sticking your kids in front of the telly for like 5 hours, isn't it? Just doing something like this because it's creative, it's not harming you in any way, it's actually really good for you, isn't it? So I think it's a great thing. I mean, it seems like it's a bit too complicated for children, but it's not, because
it actually focuses them up. Yeah, it is. I think it is. Yeah.
And should we explain why we have this jacket here now? Because I'd like to show you. This is actually your dad's jacket, who's sitting over there, rooting for you today. So I'd just like to show you what's inside this jacket. Now, you weren't expecting this, were you? Look at that. So this is something that you also drew yourself and...
Yep. So one of the peacocks was actually as it is. And my dad was like, right, I really want your piece of artwork in my jacket.
Oh, so he made a special request,
did he? Make a special request.
Wow, okay, very good.
Obviously, for the sake of the jacket, I wanted it to be kind of mirrored. Added a coloured background.
That's amazing.
So that's what I came up with.
Butterflies, we've got the peacocks, we've got the flowers. Absolutely amazing. Wow. And for people that maybe haven't done the colouring before, what advice would you give to people on how to sort of get started and what the best way of doing it?
I think just have no fear. Like, there's no boundaries. It's just the freedom, really, isn't it? Just to get lost in your own world, and I think that's really important, especially to take time, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, to take away from maybe children or work stresses or anything. Just colour, and it doesn't. You could have a lime green horse or a.
That's true. You don't have to stick to the conventional
colours. It could just be
do
anything.
You?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the future? What are your plans for the future with all this, Georgie?
I don't know. Just kind of, I like to be quite spontaneous, so I think whatever comes along, I'll just kind of grab it, basically.
Brilliant. Okay, George, it's been lovely speaking to you, and thanks so much for bringing these samples in for us to show our viewers today. That's lovely.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we have covered lots of different things today, and also something else that we'd like to home in on is how exercise can also help ease our mind and help us to be more mindful and reduce anxiety. So here's Ben Cooper showing us some great exercises that can benefit anyone.
Hi, I'm Ben and welcome to the Move 360 studio. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety. I use exercises to help people with anxiety every single day. And these type of exercises are particularly good for acute anxiety, when it comes on really suddenly, when you've had an argument or any type of anxiety that you're experiencing, and we're all going to experience some at some point in our life. The key to these exercises is the breathing. So I'm going to start on the mat, shoulder width apart with the legs, extending the arms up, and breathe out as we go down. Breathe in again. And you can close your eyes through these if you want to, and breathe out. Breathe in, extend, and breathe out, down again. So the key is to get as low as you can, but if you can't get as low as I'm getting, just go to your limit. Keep it slow. Breathe in, breathe out, and make sure that you're focused on something away from the anxiety. Okay, and now the next exercise, we're going to use a Swiss ball. Now this exercise is similar to the first, but the Swiss ball adds a great element to it. Swiss balls, basically when you use them, you use every muscle in your body. Every muscle will be working to stabilize on the Swiss ball. So we're going to sit on it to start with, roll down into position, arms out again, and again, it's all about the breathing. Breathe out, breathe in on extension, breathe out, breathe in. Keep it slow. Focus the mind away from the anxiety and what is causing it. And not only are you reducing anxiety, but you'll be using your abdominals, you'll be using your glutes, you're focusing the mind on other things, and that's going to help to reduce them. The next exercise I recommend, particularly for people who work in offices, who sit down a lot during the day, will be down on the mat, face down. It's called a Mackenzie push-up. Again, breathe in and down. Breathe out as you push up. Keep it slow again, and this is mobilizing the lower back. And already you've probably forgotten about what your anxiety was about. And this is driving energy into all of the other areas of your body as well, away from your mind. Anxiety is very much about the mind as well as the body. The next exercise, we're going to use a foam roller, or you can use a block. I'm just going to lie down onto it with my head rested, arm down, and then the other arm on top. I'm going to breathe in, rotate, and come back. Breathe in. Again, the same rhythm, slow. So on all of these exercises, we're going to want to do about 10 reps on each, and just do one set of each. See how you feel. See whether the anxiety's gone down. See how your body feels. And then you can repeat them if you want to, but keep them slow, breathing in and out slowly and deeply, and then see how you feel.
Thanks very much to Ben. Well, after the break, we'll be looking at how comedy can help to reduce anxiety and stress, and I'll also be giving you my top tips on how you can relax this Christmas, so don't go away. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where, as you know, today's show has been all about reducing stress and anxiety, especially over Christmas. So far, we've heard of the benefits of mindfulness and also colouring. And another wonderful way of relieving the stresses of the festive period is to have a bit of a chuckle. According to Huffington Post, laughter can also help relieve pain, boost your immune system, reduce blood pressure, stimulate your mind, and even give you a good workout. Here's Barbara Lewin paying a visit to Comedia Club in Brighton and the Comedy Cafe in Shoreditch to get more of an idea of why going to comedy shows makes us feel so good.
I'm here with Emily, who's the press officer at Comedia, and she's going to tell us a little bit about Comedia and why people should come here. So Emily, why would you recommend Comedia?
Well, it's a fab venue. It's independently run. We have loads of different events on, particularly Creator Comedy Club, which is our weekly comedy club, runs Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We've been voted for the award-winning best comedy venue in the South East by Chortle 9 times. So, yeah, you're guaranteed a good night out.
Apparently, Comedia is the second happiest place to come in Brighton. Why do you think that is?
I didn't know that. That's brilliant. Well, pretty much, because if you come down here, you're guaranteed to laugh at some point. A really good night out. Yeah, it's one of the best entertainment venues in the country.
So I'm here with Jamie and Natalie, who are co-producers for a company Jumpstart Productions. We had their showcase here on Wednesday night and what was the film called? Was it Daisy?
Yeah, the film's called Daisy, yep. It's our 5th movie that we've done as a company, and it's all about a woman, an adult film star, making her last film in Ibiza.
So you had it screened here. Was that the first time it's ever been screened anywhere?
Yeah, it was its world premiere. Yeah, it was. We've shown stuff here at Comedia before, but normally in the smaller rooms. So it's the first time we did it here. But yeah, it was its first ever screening. We sold it out, so it was nice. Very busy.
After the actual premiere, we had a gig with the band themselves, so it was perfect setup for that, because then the band were able to get up and everyone was able to dance and clear the tables. So yeah, it was a good night for that.
There's actually nowhere like it in Brighton, where you can, especially as a filmmaker, there's nowhere else to really show something in a place like this. And it's really nice. Everyone here is really nice. There's a really nice vibe to it. It's just a really nice place to show films. It's just perfect.
There's loads of stuff going on, loads of stuff for people to get involved in, and not just here but all over the city. It's a brilliant place to live.
Tonight I've come down to Shoreditch and I'm outside the Comedy Cafe. And I'm going to go inside and try and find a couple of comedians and ask them why they think laughing is so important. So Kate, you're a comedian. How many years have you been on the stage?
About 2 and a bit, I would say now.
And what inspired you to sort of go down this road?
Well, I wanted to do acting, and I used to just sing and play pop songs. And now I do musical comedy, because in my uni course there was a module in stand-up comedy. And I did it just to do something scary and to kind of build my confidence, and then I just carried on doing it. Not many people bother to go out and watch it. They watch it on TV and it's all Michael McIntyre and stuff, and it's nice to go out and actually be part of it. It's fun.
So how long have you been a comedian for?
I'm into my 3rd year. This is my 3rd year doing comedy, because I'm still learning. But yeah, this is my 3rd year into comedy, and it's going well.
So, how are you? Oh my God! We've got someone here for the stage. Can you believe it? Last person. So where on the stage are you from? Oh my God!
So will you be hosting any sort of evening, or are you sticking to comedy because that's your thing?
Well, I don't know. I'd host any evening. If I could tell a couple of jokes and have a laugh, I don't know, I'd host anything.
What was it that made you want to come down here this evening?
Well, I've come because one of my friends is actually a comedian from B and is performing tonight, so he invited me over.
And you?
My lovely cousin invited me.
Do you think if people are feeling a bit down in the dumps or fed up, it's good to get out here and have a laugh with everyone? Do you think it's quite therapeutic in a way?
I think it's great, especially during the recession. I mean, everyone needs to kind of forget about work and everything that's happening in the economy and just come down here, have a laugh and support good people.
Get the good vibes going. Laughter's the best medicine.
Yeah.
I always sussed out that Quiche isn't exactly a Chinesey name, but that still doesn't stop people from trying to say it in a Chinesey way. I was at UK passport control. It was like, welcome back, Mr.
How does getting up on stage and making people laugh make you feel inside?
Terrified, and then if it goes well, really good, and if it goes badly, awful.
Comedy's a little bit like therapy, isn't it? So, I'll come on stage and I'll just let go and people will be laughing while I'm on stage depressed.
He's been dead 12 years.
That's great, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Thanks a lot, ladies.
Thank you.
Really good. Thank you.
So tonight's been eventful and we've spoken to a few comedians. And sometimes you're feeling down in the dumps or life's getting a bit mundane. And it's at times like this that you should go out there and do something that's fun and entertaining to put the smile back onto your face.
Well, thank you very much to Barbara. So now it's time for a few tips before we end the show, and this is kind of going back to what we spoke about regarding mindfulness. So my first point is for you to try to get into the habit of doing one thing at a time. So I had quite an issue with this, but because I actually realized that I was wasting a lot of time because I was trying to do lots of things at once and sometimes not finishing one task before I moved on to the next one. And this could be, I have spoken about it briefly before on this program, this could be something as simple as maybe starting to clean in one room of my house, and before I'd finish that room, I'd get bored and I'd go and start doing something in another area of the house. And this of course meant that things took longer to get done, and this also was mirrored in other areas, like with work, like I'll be answering one email and then I get distracted and I want to do something else. And I really saw it as quite an issue. And when I realized what was going on, I was very strict with myself, and I set myself sort of mini challenges. For example, like I'm not going to go and start another room until I've completely finished this one, or I'm only going to go into the next bit of work when I've finished writing this email. And I actually had to get into the habit of doing that, and it made me so much more effective in the things that I do. And it's something that I still have to kind of control in a sense, because I do kind of get bored and I want to go into something else, but I've been very sort of disciplined and trying to get myself to manage one thing at a time and then move on to the next one, because you definitely are a lot more effective. My second point is to get the most from it. So I didn't seem to have a problem being mindful when, for example, I was eating. So for example, I don't like to walk and eat at the same time. So when meal times come, for example, I normally like to sit down, I like to savor the food, I like to concentrate on what I'm eating, I take my time, I don't just woof my food down, because for me it's like a nice a nice time in my day to actually sit down and have a meal. So you should try and get the most of anything that you are doing. So if you are, for example, out with a friend or out with a partner, why not just, just focus, as we spoke about earlier, focus on that person, give them your full attention, give them that respect that they deserve. And also you get more from relationships when you're actually you focus on the person and not, be distracted by your phone or thinking about other things. My third point is not to pack up your schedule too much. So if you do put too many things into your daily schedule, you end up doing a rush job and not doing or even enjoying anything properly. So it's better to do less and do your best. So there are some things maybe that you're going to have to let go of that aren't that important, especially over the festive period. So see maybe what you can eliminate from your day-to-day activities that aren't going to make much difference if they weren't there in the first place. My fourth point is to take breaks. And I think people really underestimate how much like something like this impacts your mental health and well-being. So even if it's just for a few minutes, just sit down and maybe just do nothing. Just relax. You don't have to sleep. Just sit down and just be aware of your body, of things around you, and before you move on to anything else, because people don't realize just how much they're stressing themselves out by going on to a next task after, they're already thinking about the next one, and they're just rushing around like headless chickens and not actually enjoying their life. So do take those breaks and don't feel guilty. This is another thing, because I think a lot of people actually feel guilty. They think, oh, I have so much to do, I can't possibly take a break, it's not good. And they feel really bad for doing it, but you will feel even worse if you get sick and you don't enjoy your life, right? Okay, and finally, let's go to the next point. Plan and don't worry. So a lot of people worry about the future, even about the next day. But instead of stressing out over all the things that you have to do, why not just sit down for a few minutes and write down what you need to do and make some plans, and then focus on what you're doing now and enjoying what you're doing now, because nothing is going to change or improve by thinking ahead and worrying about it in this particular moment, and you just end up spoiling the present in a way. And this is something that I do. Sometimes I have so many things that I need to think about, so many things that I need to do the next day. And it really helps when I just open up my diary, I make a note of a list of things, of the things that that I need to do the next day or the next week. And once it's there, I know it's there. I'm not going to forget about it. And when tomorrow comes, I'll just get on with it and I'll tick things off my list. But I'm going to enjoy my present moments. And that really does help me, and I hope that also helps you guys at home. And that's all we have time for on today's program. But if you would like to share with us what you do to de-stress over the festive period or at any other stressful period in your life, do let us know. You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Until next time, bye-bye for now. So Georgie, how was your experience on the show today?
It was my first time on TV and I absolutely loved it. Thank you for having me.
I thought we were sleeping.
It was a great experience. I really enjoyed being here. Everybody was so friendly, and there is a calming and relaxing atmosphere, very mindful. Thank you.
Here to help our viewers relax, our mindfulness coach, Cynthia. But don't let the winter blues get to you down, because tonight, oh, can I do that again?
Oh, I'm sleepy, sleepy.
But don't let the winter blues get you to you. Oh my goodness, here we go.
Last one.
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1.
So we've spoken about mindfulness before the break, and now we've got Audrey with us to delve into a bit more what we spoke about as well in the intro, which was about social anxiety and people.
My bad.
Now, this next activity has taken the world by storm over recent years, with nearly 1 in 7 adults doing it at work and almost a third of us at home. Colouring has been sorry.